really great to have in the garden. Not only to give a bit of height and a bit of colour and soften hard areas, but also for beauty, for the birds and for sheer enjoyment. Now, when you're putting new trees into the garden, big or small, it's always advisable to put a stake. Now, I kid you not. It's not just for the fact that heavy winded areas could snap the tree itself, it's got a very broad dome, but it also loosens the plant in the soil. And if the wind's blowing the tree around, it's very difficult for the outer roots to get in there and get established. So staking young trees is all important in their first stages of life in your garden. Once they're established, they're fine. Getting hold of a decent stake makes a great deal of difference. Having something roughly the same size or bigger than the girth of the stem itself shows that it's pretty strong and will be able to support the tree. Sinking into the ground, get it as deep as you possibly can. 2.5 foot would be ideal. Once that's staked in, you then need to tie the stake to the tree. You can buy from garden centres these tree tie belts, which consist of a belt and a little spacer. You put the spacer on, work it quite up to the buckle end, and then place it around the tree. I normally put 2 tree ties in, one roughly about waist height and one round about eye height, depending on the size of your tree, of course, and that gives it a double support. I then thread the belt through the spacer and use this spacer to be a gap in between the tree itself and the stake, so it doesn't rub off any of the bark. I then literally pull it tight like that and then tie it up so it works on that basis. Get in there. Here we go. So it actually acts as a buckle there. You can do another little wrap on the back of it. So that in fact acts as a spacer. But here's the warning. As the tree grows, you do need to slacken it off a little bit to give it space. Otherwise it can end up, constricting the tree and the tree growing round the belt itself. Now, if you want to use something a little bit eco-recycling that helps that, you can use an old pair of socks or a pair of tights, because it works pretty well as a tree tie. Again, you go once round the tree, then you tie a little knot to act as your own spacer, tie it really tight, and then round the stake as well. Now this works not only to tie the tree to the stake itself, but of course as the tree grows it will expand and the socks will actually move with it, and of course eventually the socks will break down and fall away, but by then the tree should be established. It's as simple as that. A very inexpensive stake, a pair of socks or one of the tree tie belts will secure your trees and ensure that they establish well so you can enjoy them in your garden.